Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to crack open the playbook that both ethical hackers and malicious attackers use. We're going to see exactly how they blow right through one of our most common defenses, the good old password.
So, forget what you've seen in the movies with all that frantic, last-second typing. Real-world password cracking, it's way more methodical. It's a systematic process that uses very clear strategies and incredibly powerful, automated tools. So let's break down how it really works.
All right, so what's the end game for any attacker? Well, it's all about gaining access. And when passwords are the lock on the door, attackers basically have two very different playgrounds to choose from.
So on one side, you've got your online attacks. This is kind of like standing at the front door of a house and trying every key on your keychain. You're hammering a live service, a website login, an SSH terminal, trying to guess your way in right then and there. But then you have offline attacks. This is a totally different game. This is like stealing the entire lock, taking it back to your workshop, and picking it apart at your leisure. The attacker has already breached a server and stolen a file of scrambled passwords, and now they can work on cracking them on their own super powerful computer, completely off the radar.
Now, that whole offline attack thing, it's only possible because the attacker gets their hands on a very specific prize, a list of what we call password hashes. You see, services don't, or at least they shouldn't, store your actual password. Instead, they store this scrambled, cryptographic version of it.
So what in the world is a password hash? Well, think of it like a unique digital fingerprint for your password. It's the result of a one-way function. It's super easy to take your password and generate its fingerprint, its hash. But, and this is the important part, it's designed to be almost impossible to take that fingerprint and figure out what the original password was. It's a one-way street, by design.
Okay, so we've got our battlefield, either online or offline. Now it's time for the attacker to choose their weapon. The strategy almost always boils down to one of two things: the sledgehammer approach of a brute force attack or the much, much smarter dictionary attack.
First up is brute force. And really, the name says it all. This is a game of sheer, relentless power. It is the simplest, most straightforward strategy there is. You just try every single possible combination of letters, numbers, and symbols until you finally hit the right one.
And when I say every combination, I mean it. The process is painfully methodical. The tool tries A, then B, then C. No luck? Okay, let's try two characters, AA, AB, AC. It will, without a doubt, eventually find any password. The catch? Well, eventually could mean tomorrow, or it could mean a few 100,000 years from now. It all depends on the password's length and complexity.
But, why use a sledgehammer when a lockpick will do? That's where the second strategy comes in, and it is so much more effective. It's called a dictionary attack, and it's all about making smart, educated guesses.
So instead of just trying random nonsense, a dictionary attack uses a pre-made cheat sheet. It's a massive list called a word list that has millions of the most common passwords, password 123456, QWERTY, plus words from the dictionary, names, places, you name it. It starts with the most likely candidates first, which is why it's so devastatingly fast against common passwords. Right? Obviously, no one is sitting there typing this stuff in by hand. Attackers rely on highly specialized, custom-built tools to automate this whole process. So let's meet a couple of the most famous ones.
For those online, front door style attacks, a classic tool you'll find in every hacker's toolkit is Medusa. It is an absolute beast. It's known for being a fast, parallel login brute forcer, which is just a fancy way of saying it can try to log into a whole bunch of accounts all at the same time across the network.
And check this out. This table breaks down Medusa's job perfectly. You can see its target is a live service, things like SSH or FTP. Its method? It can do brute force, or you can give it one of those smart dictionary word lists. That sample command there shows you just how simple it is. You just point Medusa at a target, give it a username, and a file full of passwords to try. Then you just wait.
Now, for the offline world, where things get really fast, we have an absolute legend, John the Ripper. Most folks in the know just call it John, and it is one of the fastest and most famous password crackers ever made. Look here, John's profile is totally different from Medusa's. Its target isn't a live server at all. Nope, it's a file, sitting right there on the attacker's own computer. A file full of those password hashes we talked about. It could be a Windows SAM file, a Linux shadow file. John doesn't care. It just unleashes its full power on that file to figure out the original passwords. No network traffic, no alarms, just pure, unadulterated cracking speed.
So just how fast are we talking about here? I want you to really let this sink in. Modern tools like John the Ripper, especially when they're running on powerful graphics cards, they're not making thousands of guesses per second. Not even millions. They are making billions of guesses. Every single second.
Okay, so we've peeked inside the hacker's playbook. We've seen the strategies and the tools. But so what? Why does any of this actually matter to you and your own security?
Well, here's the bottom line. Password cracking isn't some dark art. It's a science. It is a systematic, automated process. If your password is even remotely common, a dictionary attack will find it, probably in seconds. And even if you think it's complex, if it's too short, the sheer velocity of a modern brute force attack means it's living on borrowed time.
And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? A strong password isn't just about having a weird symbol or a capital letter. Its real strength is measured by one thing and one thing only: how well it stands up against the very tools and strategies we just looked at.
And that leaves us with one final, pretty heavy question to think about. In a world where your opponent is a machine that can make billions of guesses every second, what does a truly strong password even look like anymore? What does it actually take to stay ahead?